Sometimes the person that gets the most jealous, angry, and insecure with you is your own sister. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist, and I wanted to spend some time talking about a phenomenon that if you have a sister, a lot of you probably already know about already. And that phenomenon is when your sister gets angry and jealous of you and wants to compete with you. And a lot of times, this person may not say, I'm proud of you or I'm happy for you, or they may say those words, but they don't actually mean them. Um, and I'll give you a good example of how this appeared on television. If you watch Real Housewives of Atlanta, not the new versions, but the old versions, a good example of this is, I think, Portia and her sister, namely when her sister got into a relationship and got and had a baby. You could kind of see the envy that Portia had for her sister and all of the things that her sister was doing while her sister was just sort of quietly, doing her life. And one of the things that happens, and I think another example of this was also Kenya, and I'll explain why. One of the things that happens, especially when women make big life transitions, moving in, having a baby, getting married, relational life transitions, but also even with like jobs and other things like that, when they're hitting milestones, the other women around them will look around and say, well, shoot, I've got to hurry up. I'm older or I'm living my life and they're beating me. They're winning. And that's how you know that you're in this sort of secret competition, is because these women they'll just cherry pick somebody anybody will do, and I'll have a baby and I'll get married and I'll move in and I'll hurry up and rush the process along so I feel like I'm not behind in anything. And it happens more often than you know. This could be, outside of your sister. It could be your mother. It could be your aunt. It could be the woman at your job, but they see these things that you're doing. And they're great things. They're wonderful things. And they aspire to have that. And so it's almost like by you doing that, that's like a get up and go for me, a get up and go for them, excuse me, to really just hurry up and speed the process along. Otherwise they feel inferior, they feel like they've lost the competition. And so that's why they may have like these fast, hot and ready relationships that fizzle out just as quick. Is because a lot of times what they won't tell you and what they won't be open and honest about, but you can see if you study women, if you spend enough time with them, that they are competing and they were just racing to get what you have. They didn't really necessarily think through all the steps and to make sure that that they were aligned with their partner. And this can also come to not just from jealousy and envy and insecurity on their own, but family can also feed into this. And add that extra pressure. Family, society, well, you're getting old, aren't you? Well, when you gonna get married? When you gonna have some kids? When you gonna give me some grandkids? What's going on with you in the relationship department? Why can't you keep a man? Or why can't you? And there's sort of the societal pressure that's for women only, because men don't have the same societal pressure. It's like when women are old and they're single, they're considered a spinster, an old maid, and all these other like silly little terms that I'm sure many of you have heard over the years. But there is just this added element of like this pressure to like do life in a certain way. And if you're not doing life in a certain way, then you cannot be celebrated. As almost like, are you even worthy of living life anymore? Are you even worthy of being a part of this society anymore? At least in America, anyway. I'm not sure how it is for other countries. But one of the things that tends to happen with these women, these sisters and these women that compete, the women that they're actually in deep admiration the woman that they're jealous and insecure of. A lot of times they're mean to her. A lot of times they may be dismissive of her accomplishments. They may not even say anything. That's why it might be difficult for you to track or to pick up on, is because, well, every second you get, there's always sort of this condescending tone or this putting down or this degradation. And that actually is the clue in, when people are putting you down, that means they're focused so much on what you have, right? And it sticks out to them so much so that they have to go out of their way to be negative and hurt you, cut you to the white meat about it. So let me know what you think. And if you've seen this or if you have experienced this, be sure to like, share, comment, and give me a follow. And definitely subscribe to my newsletter. Hope you guys are doing well. Happy Saturday, and I hope you have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend.